Hello dear students, welcome you all for our lecture series on tourism. Some foods like fruits, vegetables and nuts are eaten raw. It is good that they are consumed raw, as in the uncooked condition they retain most of their nutritive value. On the other hand, most foods are cooked before they are accepted. Cooking food is the use of heat to bring about desirable changes in foods being consumed. The source of heat may be the result of combustion of wood, coal, gas or oil by electric heating elements contained in hot plates or electric ovens, or by a microwave cooker. In this lesson, let us study the following aspects: objectives of cooking food, methods of cooking, cooking media, food habits in India and food tourism. Let us start with the objectives of cooking food. Cooking of food produces improvement in flavor, texture and appearance, and this makes the food palatable and easily digestible. Most foods in the raw state contain harmful microorganisms and they are destroyed during cooking. The following aspects are considered to be the main objectives of cooking food. They are as follows: improvement of food quality. Cooking improves the natural flavor of food. Example, the flavor of meat is developed and enhanced by heating. The flavor of bread develops in the crust during baking. Coffee flavor is formed during the roasting of green coffee, and so on. If a blend of flavors is required, several foods could be cooked together to bring about this by addition of required flavoring material. Cooking could also destroy the flavor of a food. In such case, if the original flavor of a food is to be retained, there should be minimum cooking. Overcooking results in the volatilization of flavor substances and a less desired product may be obtained. Color and texture also influence flavor. Cooking helps develop the desired color and texture in foods. Next is destruction of microorganisms. Microorganisms are ubiquitous in their distribution. They are found everywhere in every environment and adapt themselves to almost every growth condition. They make their presence known in many ways. Their action may be beneficial, as in the production of cheese, pickles, leavening of bread, or harmful, as in food spoilage. The second types of microorganisms are not normally present as food contaminants. When present, they cause infections or produce toxins. Infective types of bacteria such as Salmonella and Shigella multiply in the intestinal tract and cause disease through the infection of the host. In contrast, bacteria like Staphylococcus aureus and Clostridium botulinum produce the toxins present in the food at the time of consumption and are the direct causes of the illness. Food storage under conditions that prevent bacterial growth does not provide safety against infective pathogens, but do so against toxinogenic food poisons. Molds also produce toxins. The mold or Aspergillus flavus produces a toxins which, when present in food, is a health hazard. There are many other molds producing toxins referred to as mycotoxins. One of the most important methods of protection for food against harmful microorganisms is by the application of heat. Cooking food to the required temperature for a required length of time can destroy all harmful microorganisms in foods. Now we shall move on to methods of cooking. There are several methods of cooking. While the heat plays a major role in preparing or cooking food, following are the major methods of cooking food using heat as the main source. First one is conduction. In conduction, heat flows from the source to the material absorbing it. Copper utensils are the best conductors. Aluminium conducts heat slowly and steel more slowly. For efficient conduction to take place from a hot surface to another surface, it is important that there is a large area of contact as possible. Hence, the bottoms of pans should be flat and thick. Next one is convection. When a liquid or air is heated, the portions nearest to the heat becomes warm and less dense. They rise and are replaced by the denser material, that is, convection currents flow from a more dense to less dense areas. The convection currents usually flow in a vertical direction and they are hindered by solid materials. The heat source at the bottom of the oven heats the air which rises and is continuously replaced by cold air. Roasting is mainly accomplished by convection. Next is radiation. Radiation waves are at the same speed as light rays. Radiation waves travel through gases, clear liquids or glass without heating them or through vacuum. In cooking, when heat radiations reach the food, only the surface is heated, they do not penetrate the food. The rest of the food is cooked mostly by conduction and convection. Radiation heat is used in broiling. Toasting of bread is by radiation. Next is microwave heating. Microwaves are absorbed and penetrate the food. When the electric field of the microwave interacts with the water dipole, the water molecules begin to vibrate very rapidly in food. This vibration produces friction that creates heat within the food, thereby cooking it. After cooking methods, now come to cooking media. Cooking can be carried out in a various media like air, water, steam and fat or combination of all these. Following are some of the cooking medias commonly used in India. Cooking in air. It includes grilling, roasting and baking. Coming to grilling. There are two methods of grilling that are used these days. One type of grilling is the one that is commonly used by the people in the village. This is when food is cooked over hot charcoal on an open fire. The food is placed on top of the burning charcoal. Sometimes people improvise by using wire mesh and place it over the open fire to grill fish or vegetables. The other methods is using grills that are inbuilt in stoves. In this method, the griller, which has a tray, is heated up and the food is placed on the grill tray to cook. The heat can be gas generated or electric generated depending on the type of stove used. The food is again left to cook on the grill with the doors of the grill open. The flavor of the food is not lost and much of the nutrient are not lost either. Food is frequently turned over to prevent it from burning and to ensure that equal heating and cooking time is applied to both sides of the food. By doing this, the food is cooked evenly and thoroughly. Next is roasting. With roasting, direct heat is applied to the food. The heat seals the outside part of the food and the juice inside the food cooks the food. Roasting is mainly used when cooking fleshy food like fish, meat or chicken. When heat is applied to the outer covering of the food, it seals it up, thereby trapping all the juices inside the food. The action of direct heating heats up the juices inside the food, which then cooks the food. Again, there is very little nutrient lost and flavor is not spoiled. Food is frequently rotated over the spit so that there is even heating applied to all parts of the food. This is so that heat is applied evenly to the food to make it get cooked properly. Coming to baking. In baking method of cooking, the food is cooked using convection heating. The food is put into an enclosed area where heat is then applied, and the moment of heat within the confined space acts on the food that make it get cooked. Next method is cooking in water. This includes boiling, simmering or steaming. Boiling. This is the most common method of cooking and is almost the simplest. With this method of cooking, enough water is added to food and it is then cooked over the fire. The action of the heated water makes the food to get cooked. The liquid is usually thrown away after the food is cooked. In the case of cooking rice, all the water is absorbed by the rice grains to make it get cooked. During the heating process, the nutrients can get lost or destroyed and the flavor can be reduced with this method of cooking. Next is stewing. In the process of cooking using the stewing method, food is cooked using a lot of liquid. Different kinds of vegetables are chopped, diced or cubed and added to the pot. Sometimes pieces of selected meat, fish or chicken is also chopped and added to the stew. The liquid is slightly thickened and stewed food is served in that manner. This method is also used when preparing foods that are going to be served as desserts. With this cooking method, every food is cooked together at the same time in one pot. The flavor, colors, shapes and textures of the different vegetables that are used make stewing a handy method of cooking. Coming to cooking in steam. Cooking by these methods involves moist heat. Steaming. To steam food, water is added to a pot and then a stand is placed inside the pot. The water level should be under the stand and not above it. There is no contact between the food and the water that is added to the pot. Food is then placed on the stand and heat is applied. The hot steam rising from the boiling water acts on the food and the food gets cooked. It is the hot steam that cooks the food as there is no contact between the food and the water inside the pot. This method of cooking for vegetables is very good as the food does not lose its flavor and much of the nutrients are not lost during the cooking. Coming to cooking in fat. Here, fat is used as a medium for cooking in shallow frying and deep frying. Coming to frying. When food is fried using oil or solid fat, it is important that you observe some rules in handling oil or fat. To cook food using the frying method, there are two ways of doing it. There is the shallow frying and the deep frying methods. Shallow frying. In shallow frying, food is cooked in a frying pan with a little amount of oil or fat. The oil or fat is heated to the correct amount and the food is put into the heated oil. The food is turned over a few minutes or is stirred around the couples of time before it is cooked and dished out. Deep frying. This is when a lot of oil or fat is used in cooking the food. The oil or fat is usually put into a deep pan and is heated to boiling point. Food is then put into the hot boiling oil and is cooked in that way. Apart from the above methods, there are other two additional methods included in preparing foods in parties and functions. They are barbecuing and basting. Barbecuing. The method of cooking food by barbecuing is usually associated with the fundraising activities, parties and picnics. It is more suitable to cooking meat, cutlets, fish or chicken pieces. The food is usually marinated with spices and tenderizers for some time before it is cooked. With this method of cooking, a sheet of metal with stands is heated up and oil is used to cook the food. A sufficient amount of oil is heated up and food is added. The food is then turned over a couple of times before it is dished out. Next is basting. This method of cooking is usually associated with roasting. The juice or liquid that comes out of the meat being cooked is spooned over the roast frequently while it is being roasted. The outer part of the meat is moistened frequently during the cooking process with the juice that is being spooned over. Usually, the extra juice from the cooked meat is added to a mixture to make the meat sauce. Next, coming to food habits in India. Food in India is wide-ranging in variety, taste and flavor. The unique strong flavors in Indian cuisine are derived spices, seasonings and nutritious ingredients such as leafy vegetables, grains, fruits and legumes. Geographical location further influences the style of preparation and type of food in a state. Indian cuisine has 6 distinctive tastes: sweet, sour, salty, spicy, bitter and astringent. A well-balanced Indian meal achieves this through the use of numerous spice combinations and depth of flavor in Indian recipes. Side dishes and condiments like chutneys, curries, lentils and pickles enhance the overall flavor and texture of a meal and provide the balance required. Besides spices, the other main ingredients of Indian cooking and Indian meals are milk products like ghee and curd. Lentils or dals are also common across the country, and regional preferences and availability determine the actual use in a particular area. Vegetables naturally differ across regions and with seasons. The style of cooking vegetables is dependent upon the main dish or cereal with which they are served. Although a number of religions exist in India, the two cultures that have influenced Indian cooking and food habits are the Hindu and the Muslim traditions. Each new wave of settlers brought with them their own culinary practices. However, over time they adopted a lot of specialties and cooking methods from the Indian cuisine and blended the two to perfection. The Portuguese and Persians and the British made important contributions to the Indian culinary scene. It was the British who started the commercial cultivation of tea in India. The Hindu vegetarian tradition is widespread in India, although many Hindus eat meat now. The Muslim tradition is most evident in the cooking of meats. A typical North Indian meal would consist of chapatis or rotis or parathas, rice and an assortment of accessories like dals, fried vegetables, curries, curd, chutney and pickles. For dessert, one could choose from the wide array of sweetmeats from Bengal like rasgulla, rasmalai and gulab jamuns. North Indian desserts are very similar in taste as they are derived from a milk pudding or rice base and are usually soaked in syrup. South Indian food is largely non-greasy, roasted and steamed. Rice is the staple diet and forms the basis of every meal. It is usually served with sambar, rasam, dry and curried vegetables and a curd preparation. Coconut is an important ingredient in all South Indian food. The South Indian dosa, idli and vada, which is made of fermented rice and dal, are now popular throughout the country. The popular dishes from Kerala are appams and thick stews. Dessert from the south include the Mysore pak and the creamy payasam. A meal is rounded off with the after dinner pan or betel leaf, which holds an assortment of digestive spices like aniseed, cloves, areca nut and cardamom. Now we shall move on to food tourism in India. The market for culinary tourism to India is growing as the country's culinary traditions continue to garner increasing international attention. Cooking classes, both formal and included in homestays, are favorite activities among foreign visitors. India's broad culinary culture reflects influences of Persian, Middle Eastern, Central Asian and Southeast Asian cuisines. There is no single dish that represents the country, rather Indian culinary traditions vary greatly from region to region. Northern region. In the northern region of India, flatbreads such as roti, puri, chapatis and paratha frequently accompany tandoori or clay oven baked dishes. Northern India is recognized for some of the world's finest vegetarian cuisine, resulting in part from the religious influence of the Vaishnava Hindus in the region. Wheat is more common in the northern region than throughout much of the rest of the country. Other region specific ingredients include Kashmiri chili peppers, ghee and garam masala, a spice mixture of cloves, cardamom, cinnamon, pepper, ground ginger and nutmeg. Visitors to northern India can indulge in the region's highly specialized tandoori and vegetarian dishes. Southern region. The vast coastal regions and tropical climate of southern India influence the region's cuisine. Food in this area tends to be spicier than in other parts of India, and the close proximity to the coast results in numerous seafood dishes including a variety of fish and prawns. Other local dishes include dosas, idli and rice and lentil cakes served with sambar and chutney. India's southern region is known for its extravagant rice dishes and is quickly gaining recognition as one of the top culinary tourism destinations in the country. Northwest region. India's western region produces simpler cuisines and incorporates more of the country's staple foods such as rice and flatbreads into each dish. Peanut oil is frequently used in place of ghee and vegetables are steamed instead of fried. The emphasis in the northwest region is on texture and presentation style. Kala masala is a regional spice mixture common to many of the local recipes. Visitors to the region can enjoy a variety of vegetarian and seafood dishes many of which are particularly delightful in the western state of Maharashtra. Eastern region. India's eastern region has some of the most varied cultural influences in the country, including long periods of European colonization. Seafood, particularly freshwater fish, plays a prominent role in the local cuisine, as do various fresh fruits and vegetables. Mustard oil is the preferred cooking oil in Bengal. Dishes in this region are lighter and prepared with fewer spices than in the northern or southern regions. India's eastern region is recognized for quality candies, dessert-style sweets and cakes, many of which are prepared using paneer or Indian cheese made from milk. No visit to the region is complete without a sampling of the local desserts. Now it's time to conclude the session. Cooking food is an important aspect as some of the raw materials cannot be able to eat directly. Hence, cooking food at the suitable temperatures is a process of making the food edible. It also helps in the destruction of microorganisms and other infectious materials from the food items, and it increases the taste along. The cooking methods and the cooking media and the temperatures are all of importance in cooking food. However, the cooking media and the different temperatures make a drastic change in the taste of the food item. In India, different regions adopted different methods of cooking food according to the geographical variations and climate changes. And the food tourism is also growing rapidly across the country in recent days. So students, thank you for watching this episode. We will meet in a future episode. Till then, take care. Thank you.